You know, being a ruler, like Pluto, or one can say Hades, he has to have his own legions or weaponry or gear and hordes to fight with. Even if he's using tanks and you destroy his tank and he's right next to it and it explodes, he can survive such destruction. That's Pluto for you. The gods of Marvel are very intriguing. You got high-end gods like Pluto, aka Hades of Marvel, who's very powerful, more than you probably would expect. He's the ruler of the Olympian underworld, realm of the dead. You might see a few familiar names right here like Zeus, one of his relatives, Hercules, Hermes, all this, and etc. He's actually considered the eldest son of Kronos, ruler of the superhuman extra-dimensional race of the Titans, and his wife, the Titaness. He's one of those misunderstood type characters, and those seem to be the most interesting ones. But how strong are we talking when it comes to this being? Let's get it. In narrative, when it comes to energy wielding abilities, he's up there with the top tiers when it comes to Olympus, equal to Neptune and surpassed only by Zeus. And he's one of those characters that have almost every power you can think of. Super strength, super speed, blah, blah, blah. He just has a lot of overall raw power. When it comes to raw strength, that's not what he specializes in, but that kind of becomes irrelevant considering his skills, his energy manipulation, and his other abilities he can do anyway. So his blast power and all that stuff kind of makes up whatever his strength lacks. It's kind of like how Hercules is technically physically stronger than Zeus, but that kind of doesn't matter because Zeus can probably still outclass Hercules almost most of the time because of other stuff that Zeus can do other than his physical strength, even though his son got him in that pure one aspect. That's kind of the same case when it comes to Pluto. Strength kind of doesn't really matter because when you fight him, it's going to feel like he has super strength. He's one of those characters that lacks appearances, but that doesn't mean he lacks in power level because the showings he does have pretty much speak for him. I told you his lack of strength doesn't matter because in these occasions with Hercules, it doesn't seem he lacks that much if we're being honest. He even goes as far as say, I will not battle because battles are between equals. He is not Pluto's equal in his opinion. One of the biggest bruisers just went night-night because of Pluto, bro. Yeah, he has energy projection and blasting Ghost Rider like that. He can stand there and just tank your attacks without flinching, especially if you're in his realm. Don't even try it. He's one of those characters that don't need to have weapon skills with melee combat, but he still does have skills in just general combat. If we're talking about how skilled he is with a blade, in combat like this. This is scary to think about that he's good with axes, swords, all kinds of stuff like that, but then he has crazy blast power and energy projection on top of it. He's just one of those characters that can do a lot of freaking stuff. Even if Hades is killed, he'll just rematerialize down in his world. It lets you know how powerful these Hell Lords are. He's a great fighter. He can just witness events in other dimensions like watching TV. He can do this in ghostly forms to where he can just be chilling in his other dimension. So it's kind of hard to surprise him. Can manipulate energy like fire, for example. Of course, Hades can manipulate fire, right? I'm talking about blasting with a lot of fire, or even cover himself in flames, or just create a sword of fire. He can project hellfire, just like other Hell Lords. Is that really a shock? Can summon smoke, can open up the earth itself and seal you that way. He can be normal sized, or simply just become gigantic and big as crap. Just like most deities, he can teleport and he can even bless beings with power. Like he granted this huntsman the power over fire, for example. Y'all remember that one time he made Ares 3 times stronger? Yeah, they wasn't lying when they said power bestowal. He can just make you strong as crap or stronger than you was. Stated here that Pluto was responsible for this power up. He has a form of transmutations or something of that sort, like he can turn men into monsters. Yep. If you're turned into stone because of petrification, Hades can simply undo it because he can. I mean, you already know he can manipulate fire, but who do you know that can manipulate fire spears that have unusual properties to immobilize or paralyze even the heavy hitters like Hercules? He's even nice enough to make weapons for his minions. Yeah, he has defense, like making barriers that can shield himself or his army, or even beings like Hulk and the Thing have issues getting through it. He can make illusions. His magic spells and attacks can affect spirits or even completely destroy them. He can touch stuff that's not touchable. He has gear that can render him invisible to even other Olympians. He has gear like the virtually indestructible adamantine battle axe, and his mystical battle armor is also extra durable. His touch can kind of drain you of your strength. Astral projections of himself. Since he's a Hell Lord, during a random battle, he can summon aid out of the blue, like his demon hounds to help get the edge over Hell. He can command his undead mafia. Yeah, has some form of precognition, like he knows when some people might die. He can do his own energy blast from his hands or axe. He can create a physical body for you to inhabit if you wish. This guy has the ability to rearrange the daggone molecules in the air to make a flaming fantastic image, they state. Yeah, He has the ability to rend your atoms and scatter them to the corners of the cosmos if he wishes. Him and other Hellords can merge realms together, and they can affect memories. Can give you fake memories that never happened. Most Hellords have some type of soul manipulation because he wanted to claim Odin's soul here, or drag the Avengers' souls back to their domain. Yeah, he likes souls. We're talking about a guy that can cause death to an entire army by snapping his fingers. They even ask what the heck happened. He's the god of death after all, Hades. Obviously, he's unaffected by poison. You remember when that entity known as the Chaos King made everybody go to sleep? Olympians are immune to it. Those without mortal minds remain unaffected. Blaze's hellfire isn't going to phase a god like him either. When Thor and Sif tried to pull up on Hades, aka Pluto, to really show the difference in power, with a mere gesture slows their body vibrations, stopping them in their tracks. Look at statements like this saying the only reason Thor ain't a match but his father is, implying that he's in the all-father levels only, so base Thor ain't ready for it. He has easy powers like teleportation. His energy projection is so great. He created a mystic time funnel which transported the buildings into the future. The statement saying that only his father Odin can match him seems to be legit when you look at the occasions of Thor trying to fight Pluto. For the most part, it seems like Hades was telling the truth. Thor is sleepy. Not to mention when it comes to the Hell Lords of Marvel, it seems like he's up there with beings like Hela in fights, even stating that their powers are evenly matched. Further proving that he is kind of like a Helllord All-Father type character, similar to characters like Mephisto and stuff, getting even the upper hand on Hela herself. And here is implying that he was about to get rid of Thor forever until Zeus intervened, letting you know he's like that. He's even shown to be able to imprison Asgardians, just like that. His raw power is described as a timeless bubble of limitless energy, imprisoning other Asgardians like Volstagg. And if he feels like it, he can just go to Mephisto's realm and open a portal there. Hellords got to visit each other now and now again, I guess. He's battled like all the Asgardians you can think of, even Lorelei, beam struggles of all sorts. Yeah, he has plenty of occasions of showing his power. And when it comes to him taking on entire teams of very strong beings on his own, I'll just let these panels speak for themselves. Taking on the entire X Factor. He even trolls him saying, "You think you can take on a Hell Lord?" Yeah, these Hell Lords cannot be disrespected, y'all. Then continues to talk down on him. You should not trade blows with your betters, he says. You see all this stuff going on? Deflecting stuff with his combat speed, with his own swords, deflecting their weapons back. Oh, this team was called the X Factor team, by the way, just in case you was curious. But all of this didn't matter, because his power went berserk and started spreading everywhere. Didn't I tell you? These Hell Lords on another level literally team busted and soloed them all. Night night to you all. Who do you know is powerful enough to blast beam with Doctor Strange, one of the mightiest sorcerers of all time, and troll him in the process, cause Doctor Strange a shadow? Notice how Hades is smiling in his clash with Doctor Strange. Being stabbed ain't gonna cut it? Yeah, look at this. Similar to other All-Father beings, he's above your standard powerhouse, but one could say he can even jump tiers if you fight him inside his realm. Some can even say he jumps to that cosmic being status. There's no secret that Marvel has their fair share of cosmic beings that are like concepts and stuff like that. The reason why I'm bringing them up, because you got beings like this, the Stranger, that you see alongside every time you see Marvel talk about cosmic beings. He's actually gotten a battle with the Stranger, Hades has, in his own realm to really show his power is not an exaggeration at all. You respect Pluto yet? Doesn't he look sleepy to you? Yeah, it's that clear he defeated the Stranger. Every time you see the abstracts, you always see the Stranger among them. I think this says something about his power, or one could say at least his status in Marvel cosmology. When the abstracts get called, why is he always with them? Word of advice, don't ever fight him in his realm. When it comes to imprisonment type stuff, he's strong enough to keep beings like Zeus imprisoned too, letting you know his status. A good idea of their powers when the other Hell Lords and Pluto working together, and they rock the cosmos because of their raw unimaginable power. And in this occasion, working together with other Hell Lords in this particular occasion against Dormammu. Hell freezes over because they was attempting to defeat the dreaded Dormammu and pretty much weakened him and made his powers fade because of this. Even the Flames of the Faultina acting crazy, since they froze Hell over, letting you know how strong the Hell Lords are together. Well, outside his realm, we know he's at least in the All-Father ranges when it comes to overall power in general. Maybe not his physical strength alone, but his physical strength with his energy manipulation abilities. Adding on top of it, it makes him a ridiculous threat. And then inside of his own realm, one can say he's on that cosmic being type status. To make it easy for everybody to understand, this is how it basically is. Hades being above our favorite powerhouses in their base states, obviously. He even states in his encounters with Thor, someone that's at the top of the powerhouse food chain, that he's not a threat for him, and he told Thor to go get his father because his father's the only one that's a threat for him. This kind of makes sense because all fathers were considered above a standard powerhouse back in these days. He even went as far as saying Thor would need 1,000 times power up to even have a chance of coming against him at this time. Even though Thor probably has the physical strength advantage, like I told you earlier, his physical strength is kind of irrelevant because overall power, he's too much for a powerhouse. Energy manipulation, magical attacks, all that stuff. Not to mention, I already showed you, this wasn't just words. It's literally proven when he knocked him out and made him sleepy. In this occasion they fought here. Thor can hang for a bit in some occasions, but it doesn't seem he can do too much damage in this state against Pluto. But he did knock away Pluto here, though. He seems to be too much for your standard powerhouse when it comes to one-on-one combat. They even talk about it right here, saying y'all's strength ain't no match for Pluto. Neither is yours, Hercules, the god of strength. We cannot hope to win over Pluto. We've seen him have blast power tug of wars with Doctor Strange, like I showed earlier. He doesn't seem to be having too much difficulty. Beam struggling with him here. Just like the other Hell Lords, he's comparable to other Hell Lords like Hela. And to get an understanding of how strong Pluto is, whatever the other Hell Lords can do when it comes to destructive capacity or overall raw power, he should be within that range as well because the Hell Lords battle for dominance against one another. An example would be one Hell Lord like Satanish, who's similar to power as Pluto, to where even incredibly strong powerhouses like Great Hulk, for example, stated that even if he was in his green state and got matter for a whole month, it wouldn't be able to bridge the gap between him and the powerhouse of an Hell Lord. Of course, this is an exaggeration, but it just kind of gives you narrative back in these days, how far away the powerhouses were from a Hell Lord. But of course, Hulk forms like this is a different story. This one could probably fight a Hell Lord though, you know what I mean? Same with versions of Thor like this that are recent, like All-Father Thor and stuff that's going on right now probably could take on like Pluto now though. But yeah, back in the earlier days, there was a ridiculous gap between the powerhouses in their base state versus a Hell Lord because Satanish and Mephisto's battle had such cataclysmic, devastating side effects when they're just merely fighting each other, was threatening more than one plane of existence, and Pluto and the other Hell Lords are all comparable to each other. So it's quite simple. We've already seen him match a cosmic being like the Stranger in his own realm. He's leagues mightier than your standard base powerhouse tier in their base state, and we've seen him beam struggle with Doctor freaking Strange. And we already know that most of the Hell Lords are somewhat comparable to one each other because they battle for dominance. We already know Hell Lords like Satanish and Mephisto can threaten multiple dimensions, so it's quite obvious that Pluto himself can blast away multiple universes or dimensions, quite obviously, being a Skyfather type being. Yeah, but maybe if these two versions of the characters, Hulk and Thor, were to pull up on Hades, maybe they would have a chance against him then. You know what I mean? That's the only way I can see him one-on-one in him. But other than that, it's going to take a group of heroes for this guy. But what do you guys think? Do you guys respect Marvel Hades, or one could say Pluto? I believe he's in that cosmic being or low tier cosmic being status when he's in his own realm. What do you guys think? Do you think he's cosmic being status in his own realm? Regardless if he's in his realm or not, he's bare and bones minimum Skyfather level, all father level type being anyway. So it doesn't really matter. Threat to multiple universes, blast them away. Your dimension isn't safe. Can hurt you even if you're not in the same dimension with him. It's just scary. But I also got to give a shout out to those that have donated to the channel. Respect Pluto. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.